Hey, this is Malcolm341. In this video, we're going to look at some Maya tricks and secrets. So today we're going to look at Copy Tab, which allows you to adjust settings without losing your selection, search and replace names with a suffix on multiple objects at the same time, and how to count the number of objects in your scene with the heads-up display or custom script. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's check out the Copy Tab trick or whatever it is. Basically, what the Copy Tab does is it allows you to open multiple windows of what you're working on and then allows you to click on other stuff while you're doing that. And I'll show you what that means right now. So I've got a sphere here, polygon sphere selected, and it has got just a simple Lambert shader on it here. And then plugged into the Lambert shader, I've got this ramp material here. And so what often happens in Maya is I'll want to be working on, let's say, the ramp or anything for that matter. And I'm like, whatever, moving settings here. I want to like change the color of it, whatever. I'm working on the ramp part of the thing there. And then while I'm working on that, I want to click on something else. So if I click on this, I lose my selection and I can no longer work on the ramp. And so I have to click back into here and then I can work on the ramp again and continue to make my edits. But what often happens to me, and probably happens to a lot of other people, is I'll be working on the ramp and I'll have closed this or something, and then I'll click out here by mistake, or I'll click on here, and then I can no longer work on whatever I wanted to work on, and I'm kind of stuck. So that can be super annoying and happens quite a bit. And it's not really a secret per se, but I didn't know about this feature for a long time, and it is a huge lifesaver in a lot of situations. So I'm working on the ramp here, and I'm going to open up the attribute editor for whatever property I'm working on. So I'm going to press Control A is the hotkey for it to open up the attribute editor, and that's going to pop the attribute editor open. If you don't want to use the hotkey for the attribute editor, you can select what you want to look at there, and you can find it under Windows General Editors Attribute Editor. And you're going to see it's got exactly the same problem as that thing on the right side there of the hypershade. If I click off of here, see the attribute editor goes to nothing. If I click on the sphere, it gives me the attributes for the sphere. If I click on the ramp, whoops, I get the attributes for the ramp. So now as soon as I click on something else, I'm going to lose it. And then once I've closed this window, I won't even be able to select the ramp in a convenient way. So I'm going to select the ramp and I'm going to make sure that it's in the attribute editor. Cool. And now what you can do is you can come down here and there's this little button down here, probably the first 10 or 11 years or something. I didn't know what any of this stuff did, and I never used it, and I just ignored it. And so what this does is when you click it, it duplicates that window, and then it doesn't matter what you select. So you can see there's your active one there, and I've lost the selection. And then when I go in there, the active one becomes the sphere or whatever, or becomes the nothing. But this one always stays the same. And so I can close this, and I can close this, and then I'm left with a locked in version of what I had selected, which was the ramp. So now, no matter what I select here, select that, do whatever, do anything you want, like edit some verts or anything that you want to do, you can still come into here and adjust this property live. So that can be super handy. And the copy tab will work on any property that has a window in the attribute editor. So I'm just going to select the sphere and hit Control A to bring up the attribute editor. And I'm going to look for, I don't know, here, let's go into the smooth mesh tab or whatever. And I'm going to copy the tab, close this guy. I don't need either of those. And whoops, it looks like I just have to open that again, smooth mesh tab. And then I'm just going to press 3 on the keyboard to smooth that guy. And then in here, I can adjust to the smoothing of that particular object. But as you can see, I don't even need to have the object selected because that window is actually locked to the object. So super, super helpful little trick. Okay, so next up, we're going to check out the search and replace names and then how to use that to add a suffix, which can be super useful. So I've just got a bunch of cubes here and a bunch of spheres, all with just different names, so we can check out how the tool works. So what you can do with the tool is you go up into Modify, and then we are looking for Search and Replace Names. So we open this window. And then in this window, it's pretty straightforward. You can search for a name, and you can replace it with a different name, and then you can do whatever, select it all. So let's say I want to select all of the cubes, and I'm going to replace the word cube with something else. So I'm going to search for capital C-U-B-E, And I'm going to replace it with, whoops, delete that there. I'm going to replace it with YouTube all lowercase. So you do that, select it, hit apply, and boom. And see, it left the P on the front because I'm just replacing that one word cube, and it left the numbers on the back. So that's pretty cool. But the real thing that you're going to want to do with this tool is you're going to want to add a suffix, because what's going to happen is you're going to have all these guys, and let's say they're all going to be named low, for example, because like these are maybe your low polys and these are maybe your high polys, and you want to bake between them, and you just want to add a suffix for whatever baking software that you're using to use name matching or something. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to rename this. So I don't know. Sure, let's pretend that this is a character. So you've got your head, you've got your body, got your hands, let's say. Your hands here, body, head, let's say. And now you just want to append the word low or high to your selection, but you can't do that because you'd have to search by each one. So you could do these two at the same time, these two at the same time, and these two at the same time. But that might take you forever. I don't know. You might have like a lot more meshes in your scene or something, or just, you want to do this really fast. So the secret trick to do this is pretty random. So I'm just going to select my lows. I'm going to select all of them at the same time, even though they have different names. And the secret trick is you add a $sign here, pretty obscure secret. And then you just add the whatever you want, the underscore low, which is what I want. And I'm going to apply to select it. So if you watch over here, boom, it adds the low to it, but it doesn't affect the front of the name. And then we can come in and do the same thing to the high. It doesn't even matter what order you select them in, because it's not going to mess with your initial name. And then same thing, boom. And then so there we've got our highs. So that can be super helpful in a lot of situations to organize your scene. Okay, and finally, we're going to show how to count the number of objects that you've got in your scene here. So the first way that you can do that, which is just built into Maya, is you can go to display, and you can go to the heads up display. And I'm just going to click here to tear that off, just so we can click in there a couple times without having to go back in. And you might be familiar with the poly count one. That's probably the most one that people turn on, and that's quite useful. So there's another one in here, which I believe is called object details. Where is it? Here it is. So you click that guy, and this is pretty cool. It tells you the number of selected objects that you have, and this can just be super handy for renaming stuff, or often I've needed to just know how many things that I have selected, because I might have more than 4, I might have hundreds of stuff selected. I need to count them for whatever reason. And so you can just select these, and this guy will update real time on the fly here. You can select this, and it just tells you the number of stuff that you have selected, which is super handy, but it comes with all this other junk here that I never use and I don't want to see. So I'm just going to go and close that thing because it looks disgusting and I don't want to see it anymore. So let's get rid of object details. And I just created a simple script, which I'm going to share in the description of this video. You guys can just copy paste it into a button. I'll show you how that works. So I'm just going to open up the script editor by going into Windows, where is it? General Editors and Script Editors. Alternatively, you can just click that little button there, which might be over there for you since I moved mine to there. Just going to make this a bit smaller so we can see what we're doing. And I'll just right click and go into edit here. And so it's really simple. That's all the code you need to count stuff. So what you do is you go into here and you find a mel tab, an empty one. You can hit the +1 if you don't have one. You just paste this code there, and then you just select it all. And then you hold down the middle mouse button, and you hold down middle mouse and drag the middle mouse up here. And then you release, and it makes a little button for you there. Close that, we're all good there. And then if you select some stuff and you click this button, it tells you selected objects is 2. And every time you click that button, it's just going to print out how many objects you have selected. So I don't always need to see like in real time, like how many objects I have selected. I usually just want to do a count sometimes. And so this is really helpful. And like I said, you guys can just grab the script from the description of this video. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Without viewers like you, this channel wouldn't exist. If you like this video and enjoy the channel, please support me by purchasing something from the online store. Each purchase goes towards creating more video content and keeps the channel ad-free. See you next time. Have a fantastic day.